Hello? What the fuck? I got an achievement already? Why did I get an achievement already? How you doing, Eccentric Meal? How you doing, James Moore? Hope you guys are doing well. Today we are gonna be playing Summer of '85. It was voted on the Discord server. I need to actually just do this real quick because yeah, the sound is too loud for me. I don't want it to be blasting all over my ears, even though this is a horror game, and horror games are supposed to be blasting into your ears like oh, and then you get fucking jump scare. Summer of '58. Sorry, what did I say? Summer of '85. Summer of '58. This game is actually one of those like indie horror games that I heard about, and a lot of people did play it when it came out. I didn't play it. I just knew that this game was around. It's an indie horror game that was made by some Russian people, I think. Hey Shay. Yep. I streamed early for one, so yeah.
That's what I thought.
Shut the fuck up, Siri. Sorry. Anyways, yeah. Summer of '58 is one of those games that's actually made by Russian people. It's a Russian game company, I think, called Emika. So yeah. I don't know what to expect about this game. I heard about this game. People voted for it on the Discord, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check how many people actually voted on the Discord for this. It's 7 people voted this game for on the Discord. Yeah, 7 people voted Summer of '58 on this thing. Yours my favorite horse. Yours my favorite Ape Escape Runner. How are you doing, Recount? Good luck for next week. I guess to Shay and to Recount, good luck to you guys next week because of GDQ. Unintentionally caught the stream early. Well, to be fair though, I just started streaming, so yeah. Yeah. Good luck to you guys. GDQ game list is gonna come out next week anyways. So yeah. Anyways, we're gonna be starting off a new game. I don't know what this is. Sometimes people make up things that aren't there. It seems that that some entity control their mind and their life. They do terrible things that can drive you crazy. I don't believe in paranormal phenomena. I believe that the troubles that people commit are their own fault or who brought them to this. And in order for you to believe your eyes are not fiction, I made revealing videos about paranormal phenomena in 2 houses in which, according to people's stories, madness was happening. My name is Alex Morton, and we are just getting started. Okay, can I get started at least? Okay, cool. Hey Tali, good luck to you as well. Wow. Okay, is this Outlast? Is this Outlast already? I'm not controlling this game. This looks like Outlast. Oh shit, bastard. They had the bastard wall, man. They got the bastard wall. Already a good game when you have the bastard wall. And the hate. Well, literally Outlast, but like... Interesting. Hope you're doing well, Tali. Outlast cross with PT from the looks of it. Yeah, like I said, I heard about this game when everyone was playing it. Like, I think it was on April or March. I don't remember when. This was like my Summer of '58. Yes. I searched all the corners, but I didn't find any evidence confirming paranormal activity in these houses. Now that now I'm going to an abandoned pioneer camp in Russia. At the request of my my subscribers, bro. They say there are ghosts of dead people in this place, and the hands of one of the residents. He himself was never found. The bodies of those people were also not found. Local residents avoid this place, and those who touched by this tragedy do not allow to open the doors of the building in memory of the dead and missing. I came to Russia to investigate what happened, to find out if the rumors are true, and to find evidence of this. In keeping with my tradition, I close the doors of the building behind me so that there is no temptation to leave it. And I'm staying here for a few nights recording a report. I have a video camera, a sleeping bag, a backpack, and with things and food. Okay, cool. I Killer Keemstar. Welcome to the Russian Gulags. Live streaming a game when the main protagonist live stream. True. The bastard was, yeah, the bastard was when I spent most of my time there as well. Holy shit! Wait, hold on. I gotta do this real quick. Yo, need to explore this camp. Oh, привет! Oh, I'm exploring camp. I don't know how the damn fuse is blown. I don't know how this game is gonna be like, but I heard that it's like something. I heard it's alright, but I don't know how alright this game is gonna be like. Duh. You're making risky voices now, because this game is all risky. There's a picture on the floor. It looks like a nice house, from what I can tell. Finally, they got the sensitivity right, at least. Ooh. Yeah. Russian language, I don't know. Holy shit, there's a video camera! Yo, video camera and a fucking... What was this? Russian English dictionary. Russian English dictionary?! I was translating... Are you kidding me? Okay. Vodka potato. He talked about the fucking whatever it was, huh? What's the are you serious? Wait, max. Damn. No VSync, please. No VSync. What kind of what kind of sound is that? Damn, I can actually put the gamma up high. Wait. Yeah, there you go. We can put the gamma up high. Oh my god, lol. Okay. So I don't know what my keys are. I wish I knew my keys. I have a Russian English dictionary. It's cool. They have video cameras back in the 1958. I guess it's because this place it looks like 1958. I guess I don't know. Look at the trees outside. They just is a still image. How you doing, Phoenix Wolf? Look at that. Look at that shit, bro. I see a Matryoshka doll. Give me that Matryoshka doll. Damn, bro. Can I interact with anything? I honestly can't really interact with anything at all. What the fuck? Yo, is it aliens? Hey, yo, hey, Lamau? Oh shit, that's a gas mask. Whoops. Hey, Lamau! I can't even open it at all. What the fuck? Did someone feed the cats here? Duh. In Mother Russia, we feed cats. Because cats is like big, good place. Duh, we see ghost. Okay, I don't know what the fuck am I doing. The only thing that I know what to do right now is just to go here. And that's about it. Why are we here? Basically, you're live streaming this place, and like your subscribers asked you to come here and do some ghost hunting because you want to find out paranormal activity in places, and your subscribers are like, "Yo, please go to this place to do some paranormal activity. We want to see ghosts, please." It's like, yes, okay, we'll go to this place. There are legends in that there was an orphanage near the camp. And there lived a strange girl who was afraid of water. She did not wash and did not go to the river. One day the older girls decided to laugh at her, tied her hands and poured water over her. She was very scared and ran away. They couldn't find her for many days, and they decided that she was dead. But one night she came back with her pajamas all wet and killed everyone who bullied her. Wow. After that, her spirit appears in the bathroom on a full moon. Damn, what the flying fuck? A lighter? Damn, bro. Can't use the lighter. Cool. Are you gonna play Phasmo? Yes, I'm playing Phasmophobia in real life, that's for sure. Hello? I don't know what the fuck's happening. It looks like someone dropping base to see you in hot tub. True. Could be that. Honestly, it could have been that. What's this? What the flying fuck is this? Huh. Okay. So what the fuck am I supposed to do now? Wait a minute. There's a note here. Okay. I was scared and I didn't know it would end there. I trusted her, my friend Anna. I'm sorry for not being able to stop this. It's your fault, dumbass. Hot tub is channel points. Wait, did someone put channel points now? Did someone put channel points for hot tub already? Only Russian sentence is dub. No. Okay, an investigation is underway on the disappearance of children and employees of the UNOST. I'm 6K away. Damn. On UNOST Pioneer Camp, which was opened in 1955 under the leadership of Detective Maria Anatolievna. Okay. The suspect in this case is a child living in this camp named Yakov. Oh, this is Yakov. Okay, cool. Evidence of the victims was found in his locker. What happened to him, and where he is now is not known. I knew what I meant. Yes. True. Okay. So I'm just in here, huh? Doing fuck all nothing. Yeah, am I just in here to do fuck all nothing? What's my inventory? I don't even have my inventory, like an inventory button. I don't have anything. What the fuck? Whoa. Why do people think this is haunted? Because it is haunted. It will be dark soon. Need to look for candles. Candles? Are you fucking kidding me? Candles. Oh shit. What the flying fuck? Oh! Yo! Candles! Yo, that's very convenient. These candles will be useful when the night falls. Thank you, cats. Cats? Fuck you talking about, cats? These are cats. Thank you, cats. You got two boys. Is that the boy? No, sorry. Wait, is that a boy? Is the left guy a boy? I know the middle is a girl. The middle and the right are girls. Is that a girl? That's probably a girl. That's probably a girl. That's a girl. Okay, cool. All right, we go candles. All right, what does it matter? Because cats. They said thank you, cats. It's cats. I can light candles now. It's those only 3 candles for the night, and that's about it. I feel bad for this guy, dude. Now I can spread out my sleep. Fuck. Okay, sleeping bag, I guess. Here. Spread out my sleeping bag. I rent house, and this is what I get. Damn, need to prepare for the. Okay. Well, looks like he's prepared for the night. Left to right, boy, NB, girl. I guess, but also at the same time, you know, it looks like a chick, because you know it probably resembled the whatever it is, Ivan. It probably resembles the one in the you know the notes where they said about the whole this thing right here, this one, this note. They said about this note. Hey yo, medkit. I can't even see shit. Wait, hold on. Where's my Russian English book? There we go, Russian English book. So I guess we're going here, I guess. Yeah, it's this note right here. This note. There. The strange girl, and then like she killed all the other fucking you know, people in this fucking place. I don't even know what it is. So yeah. Hello? Okay. So I'm recording right now. Interesting. The girl's name is Ivan, of course. Everything's all Ivan. Night 1, Freddy Fazbear death, yes. What the fuck was that? Wait, what the fuck was that? I heard some kind of knocking. I don't know if it was just me. Please open up, yo. Please, yes. Bro. Okay, hold on. Hello? Okay. Damn, what the fuck? Hello? Yo, you dropped your can, bro. Bro, you dropped your can. What are you gonna do about it? Hide the vodka? We're gonna hide the vodka. Oh man, the door's locked now. Oh man. Boo. I'm trapped here now. Okay. Fuck's happening? I hear fucking music. Okay, hold on. Am I just trapped here? I'm probably just trapped here, man. Let me out, bro. Bro. Soft lock percent, probably. Oh. Yo, what's up, man? Hey, yo, now the doors are unlocked. Can't even go in here. Okay. The flying fuck is happening? Oh shit! The door's now unlocked. Is your face the camera? Oh, hello! Hello! Hello, girl. How are you doing? Oh shit, she blew out the candle. Did I die? Bro, did I die? Baby babushka, baby babushka. Why isn't the girl picking up the phone? Yeah, true. Oh my god, my head. Your head, bro. What the fuck? Damn. Is this all an auto scroller? Yo, all of them are auto scrollers, that's why. You find my camera. Okay. What a nice night. Yeah, you got fucking whatever it is. Cool. Excellent. Auto scroller game anyways. This place is locked up. Like, what the fuck is that? You alright? You alright, dude? Okay, my camera's not there anymore, which... Oh, shit! And my fucking Russian English book. Hell yeah! Привет. You're not welcome here. I am not welcome here. I'm so sorry, but you know, it's called investigation. The one who hit me on the head took the candles. I have to figure out what's going on here. Okay. Sure. Need to try to turn on the lights in the entire building. Yeah, I need to fucking find fuse, huh? Okay. You're not welcome here. That's why I dragged you away. It's not even exiting the building. It's just like putting you in a fucking bed. Putting you in a better bed than this bed, you know? The bed that I had was worse than the bed that I got from in that room. What the flying fuck? Bro. Look. Those beds are totally better. They're small, but they're totally better. Smile. Opinion on jeans. How are you doing, Snooze Fest? I like jeans. I like jorts a lot more than jeans anyways. Late at night when people fall asleep, no need for fun and no need for a fool, and the bells are empty. The eyes are full of bitterness. The courtiers do not know. Courtiers do not know what the fun what that fun means to the fool. The fool decides that enough is enough, and he that night, wearing a sad suit, poisons the court and the king. I'm sad at heart, but the plan is not a failure. The fool will no longer be fun for you. What the what? Huh? Powerful, thank you. No problem. I play. Yo, this is Escape from Tarkov. True. How you doing, Wolfenstein? Hope you're doing well. Actually, fucking, actually escape from Tarkov, dude. We're literally trying to escape from Tarkov. We're finding materials right now. Yo, bird. Yo, what up? Hey, look. Hey, yo, what up? I can't believe this bird is fucking, you know, 3D, like all the other fucking stuff in this game. Or like, the background in this game is not as 3D as it is. Hello? Da, pigeon, my friend. Okay. Holy shit! Holy shit! Need to look this room. Why am I only playing with birds? I'm playing with your bird. Haha, how are you doing, good chef? How are you doing? Well. Wait. Pocket watch. Can I unlock this pocket watch at least? Wait, are they gonna give me a pocket? Yo, a crow. That's a bad sign. If you see crows here, it's a bad sign that it's fucking what do you call it? It's cursed. I'll take the box with me. If something goes wrong at night, I'll use the light bulb. Okay, cool. Need to take the box to sleeping bag. I zoomed in at the wrong time, bro. You telling me I cursed your streams? Yeah, you cursed it. See, I told you cursed my streams. The lady fucking walked by, and I zoomed in for fuck all to see the lady just walk by like this. How dare you? Okay, let's put the switch there. All right, turn on the lights. Lady, are you still in the bathroom? Oh man, you're not. Certainly a screen and a half. As they fill with cakes, yes. Wait, how do I? Yeah, how do I even? Okay, wait. Do I need a chair? What the fuck do I need? What? So you tell me to turn on the lights. I mean, fuck me. What? Are the keys just literally just zoom in and out and that's about it? What the flying fuck? Hello? I wonder what happened to this guy. Or is this a pig? It looks like a pig, I guess. What? Okay, hold on. Cook a brisket? Dude, briskets are great. What the fuck is this? It's a fucking gate. Yeah. Cool, a gate. Is there a camera setting that disables the beep sound? No, you... Get to listen to this. That's all I'm gonna say. Get to listen to this. What? So, huh? I had to switch on lights, but where are the lights in this fucking, what the fuck? Yo, where are the lights in this place? How do I turn on the lights in this place? Is it this thing? Nope. Hey, Robin. Yeah, I can't even pick up the fucking bulbs. I can't even pick up the bulbs. I feel like I need a chair then. Maybe this chair? These chairs? No. Clock. What? There's a picture right there. Yay! Why the fuck that trout renamed to Troutium? Because, you know, Troutium. I don't know. Trout has been renaming names lately, so whatever. I don't know. Yay! Everyone's like fucking excited. Yay! We're gonna fucking die here. Yay! Okay. Bert, do you have anything for me? Bert! What do I do? Fuck do I do, Bert? Anyways. Cuckoo comrade? True. A radio. What the fuck is this area? A lamp. fucking photo. That looks like a fucking merry-go-round. Whatever it is. Carousel, there we go. It's a carousel. God, I hate the fucking boop 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 boop. So, does this do anything? No. What's all these books? What the flying fuck am I supposed to do, bro? Hey, look, a chair. What's my objective? Where is the objective? I can load the game, load a save. What? What the fuck? I loaded the save! Bro! Bro, what the fuck? Oh my fucking god, I restarted this whole fucking part! I just reset the whole fucking part! Okay, whatever. Sure, I'll reset the part then. Jesus fucking Christ. Good job, thank you. I don't know what to do! They told me, hey yo, you should unlock the lights. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll unlock the lights, but like, what the fuck? Okay, fine. Take this. Read this. I love this. Take this as well. Wow. Okay, fucking do that. You try to turn on the lights in the entire building. Okay, I'm doing that right now. Hold on, let me actually turn on my lights instead. There we go. I'm looking at darkness right now. Like, what the fuck? What am I doing? I need to take this box again. Okay. Damn, bro. Okay, there's gonna be another loud sound right here. She disappeared. Damn. Okay. Okay, what do I do? What do I do after I do this? Joe, turning on your lights isn't gonna turn the game. Yeah, it's gonna make me see better. Turn on the light. Okay, you want me to turn on the light? Huh? Okay, you said it in exclamation marks. Turn on the light! Bro, I can't. Bro, can you see that I can't do that? Damn, bro. Hey, Sanctic Meal, hope you're doing well. Is this the same thing? What the fuck is this? Okay. How about this light? What is this? 1958, towards the end of the summer, parents called the camp to find out if everything was alright with their children, but no one answered. When they arrived at the camp, they found no one, only abandoned things and a mess. All the locals helped in the search of the missing children, but all in vain. Rip, dude. Okay. Sure. But like, what am I supposed to do? Bro. I know I'm supposed to turn on the lights, but how am I gonna turn on the lights if like every single fucking light is fucked? Oh, it's here. There you go. I turned on all the lights now. Oh shit. Hello. Why did you turn on? Damn it. Shut the fuck up. There you go. Alright, now I can actually install bulbs, right? Yeah, can I install the bulbs now? Because like... Oh, well. Okay. I guess I go to sleep then. This isn't CVX. I finished CVX, you fucking idiot. How you doing, Erna? Go to sleep. Sleep. But you know, this game is it's a game where a live streamer actually goes into an abandoned area and everything happens. Light bulbs. great. I see green. You don't see green. You see fucking blackness. Sis, thank you for the thank you for the 1 bit. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the 1 bit. Much appreciated. How are you doing, Lipos? Hello, Mr. Fuji. Hope you are doing well. Hello, guys. My name is Juhorse. I am a speedrunner. I'm a horse speedrunner, actually. I'm a furry horse speedrunner. Today I'm playing, Summer of 58. Hell yeah! He yells cock, I yell cock. Yes, I do yell cock. We're playing a lot of the horror games, that, I have in my Steam library as part of Spooktober, because I'll be playing a lot of the horror games. Well, like, some, like, Steam libraries and whatever it is. No nay way, yes. I don't know if this game is good. I just know that this game is a game. That's about it. Yo, what's up, man? Yo! You knocked the door! I'm sorry that I turned off your radio! Are you sad that I turned off your radio, you little bitch? I'll do it again! Yeah, you little bitch! What are you gonna do about it? I don't know if this game is actually good though. I've been having like a little bit of banter and fun because, you know, this fucking game has like this game has not a lot of scares, but I just got scared like that. It is what it is. But also there's a little girl who's haunting this fucking area. And basically this game has a fucking girl who lives in a fucking bathroom because, if I'm not mistaken, like from right here. Oh, I have a good lurk, Lipos. Let me actually check what it is again. Where's my fucking yo, where's my fucking Russian to English dictionary? I had a Russian to English dictionary like somewhere around here, but whatever. There's a note right here. It says like wait, is it here? I don't remember. There was like this one note that says like, oh, like fucking girl lives in a fucking whatever it is. Oh man, the body's gone. What the fuck? Damn. What am I gonna do now? I have no food. I have no food. Poor girl constantly rushing to the toilet. True. It's locked. It would be interesting to know what's inside. Okay. Can I get a key? Hello? Whoa. There were spare light bulbs in the box. Ah, I see. Box. Alright, nothing's gonna pop up, right? I'm gonna just take this bulb, right, Smile? Are they gonna, like, rush into, like, the other room and such like that? Wow! Using telekinesis to put the bulb inside another fucking bulb. Nice. Looks great, dude. Bulbous. Wait, but I still need to go in here, though. Right? That box. Unless... Wait, when was... Are you pissing? Are you pissing? Are you pissing? In my toilet? In the toilet? Are you pissing? What is that box? What is this box? It's just a box. Yo, what the fuck? Damn. Nice. The grudge is here now. Fucking the grudge. Yo. Piss box. Yo, the grudge, dude. Oh, fuck. I'm the horror guy. How am I getting scared by this fucking shit? You died again? I died again, man. I got a concussion. I died again. Fucking... That's like the Dark Souls jump scare. The Dark Souls jump scare. You died. Wait, what am I doing? Oh! Oh, okay. That's it? Huh. Interesting. I feel like this game... You ran across! What a fucking midget doing in a fucking place like this now? Fine, okay. Bruh, okay. The fucking midget, man. He just runs into the fucking whatever building it is. I mean, whatever room. Yo, dude, are you alright? You don't have to lock yourself in there. If you need help, you know, we can always give you help. Duh. Duh, help. Help is what you need, duh. Okay, I still need to find this key. Where's this fucking key? Why is everywhere a fucking jump scare? I don't understand this game now. Everywhere is a fucked up jump scare. Like, oh, you've been here? Oh, boom, jump scare. Oh, you've been over here as well? Oh, boom, jump scare. That's what it is, man. Okay. Maybe it's in the Matryoshka doll. Is it? Is it inside you? Or do you have the key that's right here? Is it in the toilet? What? What is this? Whoa! There's a bunch of people. 1946. Wow. It's like one boy and like God knows how many. No, that's like two guys, 3 guys, and don't know how many fucking girls. There's like so many girls in there. Yo. Reverse gangbang. Some reverse gangbang that's going on. Do I really have to fucking turn on the lights again? What? This is a fucking gate. Okay. Hello? It would be interesting to know what's inside. Yeah, I'm trying to find out what's inside, you dumb. Oh, they closed the door. They closed the door on me. Alright, cool. Nice. Now they closed that door on me. Fuck me. Okay, how many jump scares are there? How many jump scares already? Like that's the like the 9th jump scare in this fucking game already. Nice. Oh man, I'm trapped now. Oh wait, no. I'm not as trapped as before. Hey, look, a key. Hey, look, a ball is moving. With this key, I can open the box. Okay. I'm gonna open up the box now. Surely there's no other jump scares, right? Ha 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 ha. Surely when I turn behind there's not another jump scare. Dear Diary, today is the annual opening day of my camp. I have been preparing for this for 3 years, so that this summer will be special for me. During these days, I will bring up real people. Okay, this is a fucking diary. This is a fucking diary. Oh shit! It's the night of 58. So it's not. So we were at. How many fucking nights? What the fuck is this? I've reached the final chapter. Yeah, I've reached the final chapter of this game now. R. What's this? A painting. The doctors made the wrong diagnosis for Ivan. He needs a heart transplant. Only this will help him. I no longer have the strength to fight the doctors. We decided not to contact them. What time is it right now? It's 6:44? What the fuck? Why is it so dark? Whatever. I no longer have the strength to fight with the doctors. We decided not to contact them again. I will heal my son myself no matter what it takes. Interesting. Interesting classroom. Bawa. Hey, look, a plant. I can hear the crows. I can hear the crows. Quack, quack. All the crows, man. That's considered bad luck again. Oh shit. Is this the actual classroom? This is the actual classroom. What the flying fuck? Hey, look, a weighing scale for me to, like, fucking be disappointed in myself. I weigh 300 pounds. I'm disappointed in myself. Children and caregivers are asleep. Okay, so I can't bother them at all. Rip. So something exploded. Did you explode? There's a note here. Anna, we need to run. It's all because of the director. I was spying on her. She was talking to someone about something bad. You have to believe me. Warn everyone. We don't have much time until I hid her key in the closet. We can make it. Help me. What an asshole, bro. What an asshole. Is that the key? Yo, guys, it's time to sleep. It's time to sleep, guys. Alright, guys, time to sleep. Bitch, guys. It's time for bitch. Veggie. This isn't a safe. I can't even see it. Yakov Parasite stole the second gas cylinder. What? What gas cylinder? Can you move this chair away? Yeah. Fuck off. Filter is missing and the glass is broken. Interesting. He ruined my gas mask! No, my gas mask, man! I need to spray sleeping gas so that all the children can be transferred to the hospital. Whoa! What? What? Okay. A special boy, Yakov, came to the camp. He has no parents or relatives, and he became my favorite because he is so similar to my son, Ivan. I really want to see him. Yakov is a good boy, although he does not speak, but he understands everything and does everything I ask. In the afternoon, I had to meet with Alexei Sergeevich. At the shelter where we used to work. He ordered us to fulfill our agreement tonight. This A has come. Yakov will help me with this. Before going to bed, children always invent horror stories while the counselors put them to bed. This can distract them. We worked together with Alexei in an orphanage, then I acted carelessly and I received a complaint. The director had to close the shelter. I was suspended from medical work. Now I will not make such a mistake because only he knows about our agreement. I must continue to find people for him to collect their kidneys. Kidneys, really? And Alexei will help to perform the heart transplant operation for Ivan, according to all indicators from the medical report, record. Sorry. Something seriously something seriously wrong with the electrical wiring in this. Yeah, true. Yakov is an ideal donor. I'll set up an accident and no one will. What? An accident? Damn, bro. Hey yo, what up? Hey yo, what up? What up? What up? I see you. What up? What up? I see you at the door. Okay, hold on. Is this you? Bro, is this you? Yo, what up, man? Hey yo, what up? Hey yo, what up? Need to put the gas cylinder under the door. Go back. Oh my god. Okay, fine. No, are we gassing the kids? Is this gassing the kids? Sure, we'll gas the kids then. Just a bit? Yeah. What the fuck? Now I'm getting gassed as well. Yo, stop. No. 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 I'm getting gassed. I'm getting gassed. No. Don't take me alive. Hey, DJ Runk. Wanna say what's up, everyone? Much love next stream. Yes. You died. I died again. That's what it is. I died again. What the fuck? Really? We're back here again. So we're just alternating fucking universe. Not universes, sorry. We're alternating fucking places now. Maria's diary. Interesting. Why can't I pick up my Russian English dictionary now? Hello? You were told! Cross out. To get out of here! Leave this place alone! Suka! Suka! Bro! Literally? You were told Suka! To get out of here! Fuck! They told me fucking, bro! Suka! You can use them to answer. I hear them standing outside the door. What? Outside the door? What do you mean by that? What? Okay. Is that right? I know what happened here. Let me help you. Tell me, who are you? So I can use them as whatever it is? I guess. 1955, opening of the youth camp. Oh. Interesting. This is the same thing. This is like this door, right? Yeah, slip it in. Okay. Wait, it's from here, right? Hello, привет. 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 Huh? Hello? Okay. Where's this doll? This doll's creepy. There's a lot of Is that fingerprints? No, that's not fingerprints. I thought it was fingerprints. I'll make it lol. I had to go back to the toilet again and then just get fucking jump scared once again. Okay, no. Bro, the Grudge is here. There's like some small boys, small girls in here. Yeah, even that shit is here. What the flying fuck? Bro, should try writing the letter again. Okay, but what do I write? I always felt like an idiot when I didn't catch the landline phone in time. Yeah. I read that people were killed here. Did you know that? Tell me, and then I can help you. What happened to the people of Summer of 69? They 69'd each other. This is the horror game Summer of 58. How you doing, Kenji? Hope you're doing well. Hello? Also, this game has like so many fucking jump scares already. I don't know how many fucking jump scares are there now. Oh man, the doll's gone. Well, at least the doll's gone. You know? Hello? Can I go in the door? Can I go in the door now? Oh yeah. Okay, cool. I was accused, but I didn't do it. Get out of here. Get out of here, though. Oh shit, bro. Yo, well, you gotta rush into the toilet again. Do you need a pee again? Do you need a piss? What? Boom. I think someone need to piss again. A piss again. Hello? Maybe I'll just go back in this fucking room then. Maybe. Surely something that I need to do. I'm just gonna write fucking letters to this fucking door, huh? Is your name Yakov? Have you been living alone for many years? I see. This fucking guy has been communicating with paper, man. So the only thing that I have to do right now is just to wait it out. And then they'll give me the paper, huh? I guess. Well, you know what? Yeah, I guess I just have to go in and out. That's what she said. Ah! It is literally what she said, honestly. I'm just gonna go in and out. There we go. See? Told you. In and out. Yes! I hear I can communicate with my friends. We guard this place because it is our home. A lot of people came here just to break our things. My friends help me to drive away strangers. Give me a sec. I'm afraid that someone will see me. Boob whores? Hey, guns. Wait. Am I actually in boobs now? No. Okay, cool. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. Am I already in boobs? I hope I'm not in boobs. Hey, boob. You're a boob. Anyways. Wait, what? A lot of people came here just to break out things, but my friend... His friend is Ghost of Stalin. Oh yeah. Friends help me to drive away strangers. I'm afraid that someone will see me and tell me that I live here, and those people will come for me. They come? Hello? Any comers? Any comers? Who are you? Why are you here too? Or why are they here too? Whatever. I keep... This is a back and forth kind of thing. I'm already feeling bored with this back and forth kind of thing, and I'm already feeling like fucking, you know, like not having fun with this game. I feel like this game is like, yeah, it is one of those games that like it is what it is, but also at the same time, it's made by people who just think that jump scares are like the way to go for every kind of fucking horror game. It's not. The spirits of this place, those who were tortured here, they remained locked up here. That day and the evening after the lights out, someone came. Probably it was the person with whom the director spoke. He didn't find me. I think that's because of this. I think that because of this? What? I think that because of... Oh, there. I think that because of this, he poisoned all the residents and the director. I see. I see. Oh shit, a boy's outside. Wow. Big boob. All this was planned by the director of the camp? What are you talking about? What kind of person she's talking to? Is it tit? There is a fucking bird outside, like, in the game, but like you missed out the bird in the game. That's all I'm gonna say. You missed out the fucking bird in the game. There's a bird in this game. Damn, are you alright? Okay. Holy shit, that's a long long message. It's all her. I saw our director talking to someone in an old hospital near the camp. They agreed that they would do their work at night, and I realized that it was connected with us. But I couldn't warn everyone. I didn't see who else was there because I was scared and hid. What? What? In the morning I went into the building and found no one. Her safe was also not there. I thought that the man and his assistants had taken everyone away and hidden the bodies in that building. I had to stay here and live in the ventilation. Yo, he vented? He sus. Bro sus. Bro sus it out, man. Nice. Stayed in the ventilation to fucking kill someone. The building abandoned. Can I get there? If this is gonna be a no response, it's gonna be fucking Omega lol. Literally Omega lol, it's a no response. No. The fuck? Jacob didn't say anymore. Venom. What? So I had to like fucking unboard this thing, huh? Why do you fucking lock yourself in like that? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You fucking locked yourself in here, and then now you're just gonna go to the hospital? Sure, buddy. Sure, buddy. Okay. How long is this game, by the way? Is this game like fucking 2-3 hours long? If this game is like 2-3 hours long, I might just have to fucking play another game then. Yakov said that I could find proof here. Let's take a look around. Okay. Of course. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? I just came here. I need to find proof. Okay. Oh, it's chained up right now. This is also chained up as well. Yo, who the fucking guy, bro? Who the fuck this guy is? Yo, he looks so fucking handsome. Bro. Bro looking handsome as fuck, man. What? What? The flying fuck? Huh? The fuck is happening? What? Oh my god, it's Spooktober! I know! How you doing, hey Shay? What the fuck is happening? What? Okay. 1946. After the war, dozens of children end up in shelters after losing their parents. An orphanage was an orphanage for the maintenance and upbringing of orphans. Worked under the leadership of the military. Interesting. Wow. It's a fucking cabinet. Wow. What? Okay. What do I do? What? Dude, this game auto-scroller. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, this game's auto-scroller, man. The fuck? Huh? Oh wait, hold on. Now I can actually go in. Okay. This guy walks in like fucking 5 miles per hour. No, it's not 5 miles per hour. Hey yo, what up? Hey yo, what up? What up? What up, my dude? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm a streamer after all, right? I'm a streamer who comes into this fucking place and live stream my fucking experiences. The doctor of the orphanage was detained for illegal organ trafficking for 6 years. He fraudulently made incorrect diagnosis and performed operations to remove the kidney. Damn, what the fuck? He's stealing kidneys, dude. Motherfucker steals kidneys now. The director did not know about this, but he could not continue to lead his position. The orphanage was closed. The building became abandoned. I see. I see why. Don't see in another corridor. I have an angle grind. I have an angle grinder. Jesus Christ, bro. Okay, angle grinder. I had to finish what I had to finish what I started. This thing doesn't let me go. I have to finish what I started. Okay. Okay, we have to fucking use the angle grinder for like every single fucking lock in this door. Why do you fucking have an angle grinder? Like in the first place, why do you even have one? That's like a big question. Why the fuck do you even have one? What are you doing with an angle grinder? What, angle grindler or whatever is it called? I don't even know. You need to do it for the subscribers? Yeah, true. I actually had to do it for the subscribers, man. Yo, someone's drinking fucking vodka. I don't know if I'll make it to the morning because today's shift is bothering me. I want to run away from here, but I won't get paid. I hear voices. Why not have an angle grinder? Why the fuck would you have an angle grinder anyways? You wanna fucking terrorize a fucking building? You wanna fucking vandalize it? Slice people up with a fucking angle grinder? What the fuck? I want to run away from here, but then I won't get paid. I hear voices as if I'm not alone. I thought I saw a woman. Well, like her silhouette or shadow. She went into the closet. I'm afraid to follow her and move the closet. I don't want to check if it's true. Maybe it's just my imagination, which has sharpened after I. What? So you drink a glass of vodka and your fucking vision sharpened. What? Or is it imagination sharpened? I don't know. On the cabinet wait some products made of feathers and cobwebs. I've never seen them anywhere. They look terrible and it smells of dead things from there. Okay, I'll have another glass and go to bed until morning. You literally drink fucking vodka to go to bed, really? Hey, yo, what up? Yeah, motherfucker drinks vodka to go to bed. What the fuck? I see. Oh, fuck. Not see.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah, I didn't even call you. Shut the fuck up. Went for a scare. I feel great. However, I feel bad for not asking how are you. I'm doing fine. You know, doors are knocking. Everywhere is a fucking nightmare because there's a lot of fucking jump scares in this game, and it's like fucking weird. I know what I'm doing is wrong, but I have no choice. I had to save my son, Ivan. I was lucky that Alexei agreed to help. I mustn't let him down. No one should know about our affair. What the fuck, affair? What kind of affair you talking about? How you doing, Buff Legacy? Potato juice? I don't know. I hate jump scares. I don't mind jump scares, but I hate a lot of jump scares that's repetitive. Like, if you put one jump scare and then the next 30 seconds is another jump scare, like, what the fuck is that? See? Like, that's another jump scare right there. Like, how many fucking jump scares are there? There's like fucking 20 fucking jump scares already in this game. Cause you know, what the fuck? Like, that's the dumbest shit you could ever do with a game. Like, cool, this game is nice and all, like, the graphics is actually pretty cool. But you putting jump scares every 30 fucking seconds, I don't think that's a really good game already. I didn't have time to save him. I don't believe it. This can't be happening. This is not my Valenchka. Isn't vodka supposed to be flavorless like potato water? I guess so. I guess. I don't know. How you doing, Not Toast? I'll save him. I need to find a donor urgently. Okay. So we can see a fucking baby, I guess. Jordan? Привет! Kim comrade. How are you doing, my fucking comrade? Hope you are doing well, my comrade. You be a little jumpy? I mean, yes, but it's so fucking stupid, honestly. Ah! Okay, yeah, that one is like in my face. That was like in my face, man. That was like fucking in my face right there. How you doing, Poop Fist? Alright, have fun. I'm being jumpy, you know? It was in my face. It was just all over my fucking face, you know. Why don't you use the angle grinder for this? I totally love the scares. You had to put like every single fucking place, dude. Oh, and there's another jump scare. Spasiba. Spasiba. Oh man. Is there another jump scare right around here? I love. No, you don't. Wow. Angle grinder battery ran out. Oh, did it? Oh, whoops. Hey, Battleside. Wow. Okay. Can I get out of the toilet? Wait. Yeah, the jump scares are like a CSGO horror map, but like literally, I mean, this game is like Outlast and Escape from Tarkov, but it is what it is as well. Yeah, this game kind of sucks, man. I mean, yeah, it's cool that the graphics looks like dope as fuck, but like, no, it doesn't look that fucking good at all. A year later, after the events of 1950, the building was reclassified as a hospital. I almost said horror game. Thought this was Outlast? No, I played Outlast a long time ago. How are you doing, Undead Kitty? With budget cut, it stopped working here. I see. But how do I get out of here? Oh, I get out of here. Thank you. How do I get actually out of here? I guess. Wow. Damn, this guy's actually strong as fuck. Like, what the fuck? Good, you? I'm doing good as well. Just that this game gave me way too many fucking jump scares. How had her body not decomposed after all these years? I don't know. Can I upskirt her? You know, if her body's not decomposed, can I just upskirt her? Guys, I'm just horny, don't worry about it. Copium, man, I'm just horny. Which note can I go for? This one. Let the one who finds me feel the pain of a mother who lost her child. I curse everyone who couldn't help me. And I'm not just going to leave. I'll be back. I'll be back. What she meant by that and how she would return. Maria, I'm so sorry. Damn. Final stream? What do you mean final stream? This is why I said recently the graphics are nice, but but guys, make a good story and gameplay. Yeah, true. I like the graphics. The graphics are actually good. The gameplay, however, or like the fucking game, however, the storyline is just shit. I mean, it's made by Russian people, anyways. Here are the documents from 1958. Alexei Sergei. Do they actually fucking? They fucking mistyped the name earlier in the game. Whatever. About what the fuck? Yes. About whom Maria spoke. Replied to her that he would no longer participate in this and refused to work with her. Then what was the case in question, and who was she talking to when Yakov saw her? There's something else. The death certificate document. This is her son Ivan. He died in the fall of 1950. Apparently, she couldn't stand it and went crazy. She wanted to save him so badly that she lost all touch. She lost touch with reality. Poor woman. Okay. Death certificate. I guess so. Hello. Where's the lady, dude? Yo, where's the lady? Hey, yo, what up? What up, lady? Hey, yo, what up? What up, lady? Am I supposed to? Hello? What? Hey, yo, what? There we go, knife. Got a knife. Oh, shit. Yo, what's up? Upskirt? Oh. I tried upskirt. Oh, shit! What the flying fuck, bro? Okay. Well. I don't know, like, the story. It really was a flying fuck. It was a flying fuck. It was the flying fuck. Now can I get out of here? Wow, you opened up the door so fucking slowly. Probably there's gonna be another jump scare. Haha. 3 weeks later, he was running, not flying, but he was a flying fuck. We're back here? What do you mean we're back here? What the fuck are you doing, you little bitch? Why do you have to come back to this fucking school 3 weeks later? Okay, sure. We'll come back here again, I guess. Привет, my fucking Maria. Is it Maria? I don't even know what Maria. Hey, hello, Yakov. I no longer need to be afraid that you will be found and accused of something that you did not do. I've taken care of everything, and I didn't tell anyone that you live here with your friends. Protect this place further. Now it is rightfully only your home. Your friend Alex Morton. So we got an American to actually fucking come in this place? I am glad that this Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Oh, wait, no, okay, wait. Continue. See, okay, wait. I'm glad this investigation turned out to be so interesting and unique. I managed to solve the mystery. You managed to solve the mystery? You can read about this in my blog, but we need to move on. I'm going to another place with a terrible story. There's a post-credit ending. Free sound or yo, the music and SFX are like, whoa, dang. That's a lot of fucking music people, actually. Is this the ending? Or is this the ending? Is this the fucking ending of the game? Yo, honestly, the music bussin'. The music bussin', not gonna lie, I love this music. Thank you, whoever did the outro music. It's over. It's over. As like how we started, way too quick. Wait. Oh. A few days later. Wow. A few days later. Is that Jollibee? Damn. What? I'm in a fucking dungeon? Why the fuck am I in a dungeon? Bro, I'm in a fucking dungeon now. I have to wait for the person who bought this house, but after his arrival a few days later, something went wrong. This place has ceased to be harmless. I'm trapped here. I don't think the woman from a shelter in Russia could get attached and follow me. Does this place have a pendulum for people like... What? Does this house have a pendulum for people like... Do you mean asylum? A pendulum? Huh? What's a pendulum? Oh, maybe I get what they mean. Pendulum. Whatever. What if other spirits followed me? Maybe that's why I didn't find anyone in those houses. I miraculously managed to escape from that abandoned orphanage, but I'm not sure that I will be released now. We need to try to get out and warn that guy that it is dangerous to stay here. I know it's a swing thing. I know what the pendulum is. I just don't know what the fuck does it mean by like, oh, this fucking thing is like a pendulum. Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, she's gone. Thanks, woman. Pressing X to doubt, motherfucker. Well, it's a pendulum, duh. It's a fucking thing that swings left to right. I don't understand. Just level 2. I don't even know what this one is. Hey, mommy. Hey, mommy. Pendulum for exercising ghosts? I guess so. Damn, what is this game? Fucking, jump scare bait. Like, everywhere is a jump scare bait. How do you doing, Masha? It's a fucking jump scare bait. You know what? I hate this game. I probably would refund this game. I hate this game. Anyways, yeah, if you want to know my opinion about this game is shit. I want to refund my game. Apparently there's other like fucking whatever, there's other achievements which I don't want to fucking get the achievements. You know? But like this game is shit. This game is shit. Stop saying my real name. Oh, okay. Sorry. That's how I know you from anyways. It's easier enough for me to actually say your real name, dummy. But yeah, okay. Well, Summer 58 is like weird game, so I probably am gonna be not okay. Anyways, so here's the thing right now. Yeah, here's the thing right now. Because I finished this game quite early, I'm probably gonna jump over to another game